with my face down to the sun.
Oh, I got back in my head. Just a when I came for my people. Spilling out. Take my people. Together, I can feel it. So we shall take my people with me to a brand new home. I lost the rhythm, you hit freedom, coming to rest. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. My people. Into a brand new home. While the grass is green, you get freedom coming.
Good evening and welcome to Tacoma's 2023 State of the City Building Tomorrow Together. Before we continue tonight's program, please join me in once again thanking the Multicultural Child and Family Hope Center Youth Choir for starting us off on such a positive note tonight. Thank you. Such great work. We are so glad that you have all joined us tonight. My name is Andrea Ray, and I am the President CEO of the Tacoma Pierce County Chamber. Tacoma and the South Sound have always been home base for my family. My grandfather was a Tacoma native who exemplified entrepreneurship and service, having first served in the Army Air Corps based out of McCord during World War II, then returning home to Tacoma to start a small business with his brother in South Tacoma. That small business laid the foundation for not only supporting my family, but our community as well, which is why I am so happy to be home in this amazing city that balances industry and art, history and culture, truth and consequence, and always gives back. Together, we are focused on supporting our businesses who truly make our community the vibrant and thriving place we need and want it to be. Tonight, I am pleased to join you as one of this evening's MCs and will be joined by Tara Zulfagari, Vice Chair of the Mayor's Youth Commission, who you will meet shortly. Now, please stand for the presentation of colors by the Girl Scouts of Western Washington, Troop 48808, followed by the singing of the national anthem, which will be sung by Kathy Satava, Management Fellow with the City of Tacoma. Thank you. Present color. Forward. Work.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ranks we marched were so gallantly streaming. That our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner o'er the land of and the free.
Color guard,
Retire. Color. Color guard. March.
Thank you to the Girl Scouts of Western Washington, Troop 48808, and to Kathy Satava for singing of the national anthem. As Andrea introduced me earlier, my name is Tara Zulfagari, and I am happy to join you tonight as the co-MC of this event. I am Vice Chair of the Mayor's Youth Commission of Tacoma, where I have been serving since 2020. Throughout my time on MYCT, I have had the opportunity to advocate for issues like mental health, educational equity, voting rights, and racial and environmental justice in the city of Tacoma. I have been lucky to collaborate with other students to connect youth in Tacoma to a safe space for social justice and empowerment. My work on the commission has taught me so much about how crucial it is to listen to and value youth voices and perspectives in every conversation. The sense of community and inspiration I have felt here in Tacoma will stay with me throughout my life and in my career. Tonight's theme, Building Tomorrow Together, will take all of us, and I am pleased to represent the youth of this city. It is now my honor to introduce to you Patrick G. Garlock, President of the Tacoma State of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who will provide tonight's invocation.
Our gracious, loving, kind Heavenly Father, we come together tonight with gratitude in our hearts for the blessings that Thou hast bestowed upon this great city and those who live here. We recognize Thy hand in all that is good, and we pray for those in our city that face physical, emotional, and spiritual challenges. Father in heaven, may we be led to provide services and resources for our most vulnerable brothers and sisters in Tacoma. We are very grateful for the hours of service done by the government and public workers who strive to be good stewards of public resources and who protect us from harm, evil, and danger. Please inspire and bless them in their duties and workplace. We are mindful of the rising generation and pray for their development so that our children and youth will have a bright future. We ask that parents be given an extra measure of love and understanding, that as they raise children, and that as schools will be a safe place of learning, that they may be blessed. May our good Mayor, Victoria Woodards, be blessed tonight as she shares her vision and love for this great city. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you, President Garlock. Before I introduce tonight's tribal blessing, it is important to state that we gratefully honor and acknowledge that we rest on the traditional homelands of the Puyallup tribe. The Puyallup people have lived on and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to live here today. They live, work, raise their children, take care of their community, practice their traditional ways, and speak the Tshiltseed language just as their ancestors did. The city of Tacoma recognizes that this land acknowledgement is just one small step towards true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the Indigenous people of this land today and for futures to come. Please join me in welcoming Elder Connie McLeod, Director of the Puyallup Tribe Culture Department, for tonight's tribal blessing.
Well, good evening. My name is Connie McLeod, Sloop Pikel, Cedar Moon woman. I'm a Puyallup Tribal elder, Puyallup Tribal member. Our people have lived here since the beginning of time. Our stories tell us that we lived here when there was a great flood. Our people gathered their belongings, their supplies, their children, their elders, and they traveled by canoe to the top of our sacred mountain. And when the waters began to recede, they returned to their villages along our Puyallup River, along the waterways here in what now is Commencement Bay. And they continue to thrive. We are still here today. This last Saturday, we had a gathering for our community to replant a Douglas tree seedling. When our tribal leaders gathered on the tide flats of the Nisqually River to sign the Medicine Creek Treaty, there was a Douglas tree that survived for many years. It fell a few years back, and somebody in their wisdom gathered the seeds from that tree that we all knew as the Medicine Creek Treaty tree. The Nisqually tribe distributed a seedling to the Squaxin Island tribe, Puyallup tribe, Muckleshoot tribe, as we were the people of the Medicine Creek Treaty. We are the people of the Southern Sound. Our tribal council wanted a large celebration to acknowledge the planting of our tree, because it was important to teach our children, our elders. Many of our people are just returning home. And our community, we needed to teach, why is the treaty important? For me, in just a few words, without our language, we would not have any culture. Without our salmon, we would not have culture. The late Billy Frank said, we are at a crossroads and we're losing. We all have a responsibility to take care of our water, our land, our resources for our children in the future. We all deserve a way of life, a quality way of life. We have a responsibility to share and protect. So I'm going to share with you a blessing. For those of you that are here tonight, and a blessing for our community and our people, and a way of life that we will continue to live on into the future. I step away a little bit from the microphone. Hoo-yay, 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 aha. Hoo-yay, 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 aha. Hoo-yay, 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 aha. Hoo-yay, hoo-yay, Hoo yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Hoo yeah, hoo yeah, hoo yeah, yeah. Hoo yeah, yeah, hoo yeah, yeah. Hoo yeah, hoo yeah, hoo yeah, yeah. Hoo yeah, hoo yeah, hoo yeah, yeah. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay. Hoo yeah, hoo yeah, hoo yeah, yeah. Hoo yeah, hoo yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Hey, hey.
Thank you, Elder McLeod, for blessing this event and our city. It is now my pleasure to introduce local writer, poet, and activist Nakane Monique, who will inspire us with an original poem, Ode.
Without fail, I greet the city as I'm coming down the hill. Hello, my love. You are looking haggard, battered and tattered, and still it's staggering how lovely you are to me. I've walked these streets, blocked these streets, gritty with a hint of something underneath. A smile showing all its teeth like it's got news, like it's heralding something beyond the moon and above the sacred mountain, beyond fractured fractals of views, beyond clashing, gnawing blues and grays. A message from where destiny grazes like a beast upon that which we feed it, and maybe through haze, idyllic gaze, we could see it. Through to the end of time, there's a thread connecting to thread that blends and blends into our foundational lens and tapestry. And actually, there's too much beauty, too much to come after me, to not become lyrical, for this skyline is a miracle among catastrophe. And there's no substituting or diluting this for that space and time where my eyes stay glued to that which I call mine, and I am home. Seeing through haze, idyllic gaze, all that is yet to come, like relentless ripples in the sound, reaching for the shore, or rhododendron petals reaching for the sun. Building, growing, changing, shaping, tomorrow's tomorrow, planting seeds instead of bombs. Call me idealistic, call it kismet, call this love. Call this heaven, call this hell, call this all of the above, be it thread or be it ripple, be it stone or brick or mud. On the skyline, tomorrow's tomorrow glistens with our sweat, our tears, our blood. A shrine built day by day, piece by piece. Tomorrow beckons all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Nakane. And now to everyone in attendance and watching from home, I am pleased to introduce to you Mayor Victoria Woodards as she presents this year's State of the City Address Building tomorrow together. Please join me in welcoming the mayor.
Thank you. Okay, sit down. Those accolades make me super nervous. Wow. Let me first start by saying what an incredible performance by those young people. Weren't they amazing? So honored to have them with us this evening. And can we give another round of applause for tonight's poet, Nakane Monique. Nakane, thank you so much. She truly is just one example of the amazing creative community that lives here in Tacoma. And we are so blessed to have so many creatives, so many artists who call this city home. Good evening. And thank you for joining me for the 2023 State of the City Address. I can't tell you how happy I am to have all of you here with me this evening in Mount Tahoma's auditorium in person. That's what I'm excited about. It's been a long time since we've been able to gather in this way. And I am so honored that so many of you turned out tonight to share in this evening. Tonight, we will reflect on where we are as a city and the future we want to build together. Because 2023 is a year of building tomorrow together. Building is an act of creation, determination, discipline, and cooperation. Building takes time and vision, and great and enduring visions are built together. To build a community, voices and ideas need to come together in support of the future where every resident can thrive. Speaking of together, as we start this evening off, there are far too many names to say thank you to, but I have to take a moment and acknowledge a few, starting with our MCs. To Andrea Ray, CEO and president of the Tacoma Pierce County Chamber, whose first year, we can give her a round of applause, whose first year on the job has been impactful thanks to her extensive experience in community development. And we have already made great strides together to support our business community. And to Tara Zolfagari, the vice chair of the Mayor's Youth Commission, or as I like to say it, my youth commission, since I am the mayor, who not only brings an impressive level of leadership to our community, but has also blazed trails at the state level as the vice chair of the Washington Legislative Youth Advisory Council. Tara and others like her are defining our young leaders. Thank you so much, Tara. Now, there is the family you're born into and the family you get to choose. And I want to take this moment to first thank my mother, who is my blood family and who brought me into this world. Mom, I love you so much and I appreciate your ongoing love and support. And then to the family I choose, to all of my friends who are here tonight to support me, to my brothers and adopted sisters. Those of you who know me know I have a very large adopted family, but I also want to recognize Jeannie Jefferson, who sits here tonight representing the man I called my father, Harold Moss. But to all my family, thank you so much for your continued support. Now, I may look like I'm standing on this stage alone, and I kind of am, but I don't do this work alone. I have the honor of being one of 9 on our city council, and together we are addressing the opportunities and challenges that face our community. I am deeply grateful for my council colleagues, who with the recent appointment of Ogie Diaz now make up the most diverse city council in Tacoma's history. This council, which already had a female majority, now also has a majority of BIPOC leaders, and we truly represent the community we serve. I am also grateful for our city manager and our utility director, Elizabeth Pauley, city manager, and Jackie Flowers, our utility director. Their leadership teams and the nearly 4,000 employees who carry out the essential work of our city. I see you, and your efforts have not gone unnoticed. Thank you so very much for what you do on behalf of Tacoma's community every single day. And then I know they don't want this, but Harold Moss told me she who has the mic is in charge. I couldn't go any further without thanking my amazing team. It took a lot. I always say it takes a village to raise a politician. You all have no idea what it took to get me on this stage tonight. But thank God for my amazing team. Who have stood by me and beside me, late nights going over and over, changing words back and forth. But I want to say to my immediate team, Bakota and Nicole, or as I call them, Bacole or Nakota, thank you so much to the two of you for your undying support. And then to the whole media and communication staff, whether you're in the back, in the truck, wherever you are, thank you so much for dedicating yourself time and time again every year at the State of the City address. And then to all of our partners, government, business, and nonprofit. I am grateful for your commitment to serve Tacoma residents every single day. This is why we do this work together. And then I want to offer special recognition to those who serve on our city committees, boards, and commissions, advising us on everything from zoning to community investments and policy. And most importantly, I want to thank every member of our community who invest their time and energy by volunteering, tirelessly calling or emailing City Hall, compassionately caring for our neighbors, nurturing our youth, protecting our environment, advocating for causes that are near and dear to their hearts, or choosing to grow your business here. Please join me in a round of applause for all who dedicate so much time to make our city great. We are all building Tacoma's future together. With every action we take, every life we touch, we share the responsibility for building a better tomorrow. Last year, as we completed the biennial budget, we prioritized your input, and your concerns were clear: community safety, housing and homelessness, and livability. That's why we set out to fund programs addressing public safety and violent crime, affordable housing, and homelessness. And let me be clear, despite the immense budgetary pressures, we made zero cuts in these priority areas. In fact, our 2023-2024 budget invests a record-setting $372 million in safety and $101 million in housing and homelessness. The city's biennial budget is our moral document, and it reflects the community's values. It is also a blueprint for action as we continue to build a more secure, affordable, livable, and equitable community. Speaking of our values, through the budget and beyond, we've taken many steps that continue to embed Resolution 40622 into the very foundation of our work to become an anti-racist organization. We built the Office of Equity and Human Rights into the heart of the city's municipal code and added anti-racism to the city manager's job duties, thereby ingraining equity into the city's work way beyond any one leader's tenure. We reestablished and refocused our Office of Strategy to ensure our daily efforts are marching towards this community's long-term vision for our city. And because my council and I believe that language should not be a barrier when someone seeks to connect with their government, we are expanding translations to reach more people, including tonight as we broadcast in 4 different languages. Now, these are just a few steps we're taking. Over the last year, each department presented an action plan to center equity into our hiring and engagement efforts and service delivery. You can view our progress on these objectives and others by visiting our website. Our values are embedded in everything we do. Now our job is to assemble these building blocks into impactful solutions that address the most pressing issues facing us today. Tonight, I will dig in and share how your local government is doing its part to build tomorrow together. We are leaning into our challenges, and we all have the raw material we need to build something truly special. Safety is foundational to building community. And the reality is, too many of our neighbors no longer feel secure. When it comes to crime, our community is trying to process a deeply distressing uptick in violence, a disturbing national trend that has not left Tacoma unscathed. Nationally, homicides were 34% higher in 2022 when compared to 2019. And locally, we've all read the headlines. Total homicides reached an all-time high last year, resulting in the loss of 45 lives. This is not the type of record that we want to set as a city. Tragically, we have already lost 6 lives to homicide this year, 3 of which happened in just the first 3 weeks, and heartbreakingly involved gun violence among our youth. As I've said before, this level of violence is unacceptable and must stop. But we cannot give up. We cannot give up on ourselves, on each other, or this city we all love so much. Last summer, we completed an assessment to better understand the level of violence among youth under 30. One thing we learned is that firearms are too easy for our youth to access. Nearly 5% of 12th graders, I know 5% sounds like a small number, but 5% of 12th graders admitted to carrying a weapon to school at some point. And just yesterday, as I sat in the same building with young people, students told me how easy it was for them to get a gun. Police department data shows that every 48 hours, a gun is stolen from a car, not from a person or a home, but from an unattended car. Gun owners have a right to carry a gun, but also have the responsibility to secure it, because these because these guns are falling into the hands of our youth and are being used in violent crimes. But with this baseline data, we directed additional investments in preventative programs. And alongside our community partners, we are tracking progress and trends to intervene where youth need it the most. We know it is imperative to take a comprehensive approach to safety and crime. Part of that is ensuring accessible infrastructure through programs like Vision Zero and Safe Routes to School. We need to add more police resources, and we need to free up our officers to do what they've been trained to do: protect and serve. We can't expect them to simultaneously be social workers, substance use disorder and mental health counselors, and more. There are capable professionals outside of law enforcement who are specifically trained to serve people who need help navigating a difficult time in their lives. In response to our community's concerns and around property crime and other nonviolent crime, I am happy to report that last week, in partnership with our police union, we negotiated a leading-edge community services officer program. And to put this in place as quickly as possible, in the coming weeks, I will be working along with my city council members to commit $1 million to hire our first community service officers. But what is a community service officer? This program is designed to increase the level of response and provide an appropriate level of support in non-emergency situations that pose no active threat to life or property. This will allow our fully commissioned officers to focus on the most urgent calls. We are also implementing a behavioral health crisis response team. This team, housed in our great Tacoma Fire Department, is designed to provide appropriate resources to people in crisis and move them toward healing. The Tacoma Fire Department has an excellent track record with the TFD CARES program, which connects frequent 911 callers with appropriate levels of service for non-emergent medical and psychiatric needs. So you can see why I'm very excited to bring this program online. Tonight, as we promised, my top priority for this year is already beginning to happen. I am proud to share with all of you that we have already hired 2 experts to establish and co-lead the behavioral response crisis team ahead of our first quarter goal. And I want them to stand as I call their names, but will you please join me in welcoming Alicia Morales and Kathy Hallstone. They bring a vital understanding of the need for transparency, knowledge of the community behavioral health and criminal court systems, stakeholder outreach expertise, and experience with program development. We are so delighted to have you and can't wait for the work that you're going to do. But we can give them another round of applause. Now, please hear me. None of these approaches are designed to replace police, but to support them. Our officers are critical to reducing crime and creating a secure environment. With the hiring of 53 officers in 2022, we are currently down to 29 officer vacancies. But we also have over 50 officers eligible for retirement in the next 3 years. And due to the extensive training required to become a commissioned officer, hiring will remain a top priority for me. But to focus on this effort, we have already brought on a new recruiting officer. And last year, we improved incentives for lateral hires. We have also negotiated with the union the ability to temporarily hire background investigators to speed up the recruitment process, but also to maintain a highly effective police force while simultaneously hiring new officers. We will be introducing a $10,000 retention and recruitment incentive to recognize the outstanding work of our officers and what they perform under extremely challenging circumstances, and also to attract new law enforcement professionals to be a part of our Tacoma team. Now we know that adequate capacity will be crucial as we continue to refine our community approach to safety, decrease property crimes, and maximize the impact of our violent crime reduction plan. This plan is transforming our approach to be more focused, data-driven, and evidence-based. And in the coming weeks, we will enter into phase 2 with an emphasis on problem-oriented, place-based policing, or changing the conditions that make crime more likely to occur. And our goals are to continue to clean up areas of blight, fix shattered glass, institute more neighborhood watches, expand community programs or services, and continue, as in phase 1, to station visible patrol cars at strategic locations at strategic times. We are already seeing results. During the first 90 days of phase 1, violent crime dropped 30% in 16 hotspots. And in the 60 days that followed, violent crime dropped 36% at 15 hotspots. Now, I know that these numbers may not reflect what a lot of people are feeling, especially with the increase in homicides last year. However, when we determine overall levels of crime, we look at a combination of 4 statistics. So overall, across all categories combined, we are still moving in the right direction. But numbers alone cannot relieve the feelings and concerns of the people who are impacted. We know that we must understand community needs to provide appropriate safety services and programs. And I want to thank those who have persistently demanded a community-level response in times of crisis. That's why I'm proud to make another announcement. Our first community trauma response team has been hired. After over 5 years of trying to find the right partner, I am pleased to say that in partnership with Tacoma State, we have entered our first contract. And the community trauma response teams will enhance our response to traumatic events and ensure we are better supporting our neighbors impacted by violence. Our goal is to partner with culturally appropriate organizations who can be there for our neighbors in their time of need. Now let's return to the topic of youth violence. We engage youth in a variety of programming across the city, including after-school activities, mental health resources, mentorship opportunities, and more. In the current budget, we are investing in hope and opportunity for our youth by doubling the funding to over $2 million for youth violence prevention programs, working upstream to give our youth more positive alternatives. I have also convened our local partners, Pierce County, Metro Parks, Tacoma Public Schools, Pierce Transit, the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, and the Puyallup Tribe to focus our resources in a concerted effort to break this cycle of violence. On a regional level, I'm proud to announce we are working with the Alliance for Gun Responsibility, regional and state government partners to plan an upcoming event. The Together We Can End Gun Violence Conference will happen in Tacoma on May 25th and 26th, and will convene community members, national experts, and state, county, and city officials to identify community-led solutions to end gun violence and reduce it in Washington State. And tonight, I'm excited to announce that we will be a sponsor, so please stay tuned for details and partner with us. Nationally, through my role as president of the National League of Cities, we are connecting with subject matter experts from across the country on violence intervention to learn what resources and lessons might enhance our work with local partners. This spring, we are also launching our community safety plan because safety is more than just policing. We want this plan to be guided by community voices and perspectives. That is why, in addition to drawing on your prior feedback, we will include outreach and engagement efforts set to start in the coming weeks. The community safety plan will align with the Violent Crime Reduction Plan and other existing initiatives, including our Youth and Young Adult Violence Reduction Task Force, to ensure we are addressing the issue of safety holistically. The community plan gives us a blueprint for going beyond traditional policing and strategically coordinating our investments to create a safer tomorrow together. I hope all of you will join us in this work. While safety is foundational for a thriving community, if people who work here can't afford to live here, then we lose the true meaning of community. I always say, and you all have heard it, the thing that makes Tacoma the best city in the universe is the people who choose to call it home. And to build a better tomorrow, we must have affordable housing accessible in every neighborhood at every income level for every person, period. Housing affordability is a challenge everywhere you look. And the Washington State Department of Commerce recently said that we'll need 1.1 million more homes statewide over the next 20 years. And more than half of them need to be truly affordable. Locally, our Home in Tacoma plan projects 60,000 new housing units by 2040. While that's an ambitious goal, that still is not enough to meet the need, but we're gonna continue to try. And to that end, our Affordable Housing Action Strategy, now in its 5th year of implementation, is a coordinated multi-departmental effort intended to do 4 things: create more homes for people, keep housing affordable and in good repair, help people stay in their homes and communities, and reduce barriers for people who often encounter them. We have made real progress in meeting the housing needs in Tacoma. Since 2019, we've permitted over 7,000 new homes, and over 4,000 of these homes are already built. 413 of the built units are affordable for residents at or below 60% of Pierce County median family income, which based on a family of 4 is about $61,000. Although not as affordable as they need to be, we're going to continue to focus on moving that needle. 241 more units are in the pipeline right now at or below that income threshold. We have brought on more than 345 accessory dwelling units, and we've brought them into circulation in the last 4 years. So seniors can keep living in their homes and young people can afford to graduate from college, get their first job, and live here. We've added $500,000. Go ahead, I'll let you all clap for that. We've added $500,000 in funding for Black home ownership down payment assistance. And we're funding several anti-displacement measures like rehab projects, mortgage and foreclosure assistance to keep people from losing their homes. We're also developing a brand new strategy that will lay out fresh policy options to avoid displacing residents as our city grows. This work is vitally important because ultimately, we know that housing is the best solution to ending homelessness. Our neighborhood and community services department is putting into action a new strategic plan to address homelessness, and it's in alignment with our partners at the county. We envision a future where all residents have a roof over their head, and homelessness is a brief one-time experience. Our updated multifaceted approach calls for immediate access to shelter and for building enough permanent supportive housing to meet the needs. As of December 31st, 2022, a total of 1,165 shelter beds were available across our networks in the city of Tacoma. According to the 2022 point in time count, there are at least 1,851 homeless individuals across Pierce County. About 75% of those who reported sleeping in Tacoma. You see, this issue extends beyond the city limits, and we are actively coordinating with our government partners across the county to advance this work. As we continue to confront the impact of homelessness, we must consider the complex variety of needs of our unhoused neighbors. In 2022, we set up 2 mitigation sites, which were specifically designed to provide a safe experience for our neighbors who choose to live in tents. We are also launching a safe parking program in partnership with Holy Rosary, where people can temporarily live out of their car, truck, or van, because we know that 6% of our county's unhoused neighbors live in their vehicles. They rely on their vehicles not just for shelter, but also for daily activities, such as commuting to work. By designating places where they can park, they will be more secure and have access to basic hygiene services. The goal in each case is to connect people with permanent housing options and services while stabilizing their day-to-day living conditions. And while the issue of homelessness can be overwhelming, I want you to know that we are making steady progress. Last year, we housed well over 3,000 individuals across our entire shelter network, including 1,600 through our temporary and emergency shelters. And we placed 549 of our unhoused neighbors into permanent housing. And I want to tell you about one individual who found permanent housing last year. And for the sake of privacy, we'll call him Arthur. Arthur is a veteran who sought shelter at the Forward Operating Base Hope Veterans Village, which just opened last May, and it is funded in part through the city. Arthur had been living on Tacoma streets for 7 years and arrived within weeks of the shelter opening. It was clear he had a tough relationship with alcohol, and a case manager convinced him to quit drinking. He went cold turkey, which says a lot about his determination, and he succeeded. That opened the door for a federal housing voucher, but he still felt unworthy, still carrying a burden of guilt for his past mistakes, until his peers at the shelter helped him realize he deserved a place to call his own. Within weeks, he had a voucher in hand, and permanent housing came quickly thereafter. But even with a place to call his own, he kept returning to the village because he enjoyed the camaraderie and the support of his peers. Arthur took it upon himself to mentor other veterans with similar stories. He told them that if he could transform his life, they could too. Two of those veterans who were moved by his story also chose sobriety and secured permanent housing. Arthur is an inspiration to us all. His transformation became a doorway for others' transformation, and he continues to mentor others to this day. Which begs the question, if one person with the support of their community can spark such change, what could each of us accomplish? What ripples can we start? I'm here tonight to tell you that individual impacts can be life-changing. Together, we are a powerful collective force equal to the task of solving any issue, especially an issue as challenging as homelessness. But to effectively change lives as Arthur did, we must be able to connect with the stories of others. To make us more powerful change agents around homelessness, I call on each of you to join me in learning from and engaging with stories that remind us of the vast humanity we all share. One of the greatest ways to engage in stories of others is through books. This year, I couldn't be more thrilled that our Tacoma Reads selection intentionally connects to the issues of housing and homelessness in a way that nurtures understanding and empathy. I'm pleased to announce our main title is a heart-wrenching and inspiring story about young people. It pulls back the curtain on homelessness and poverty in the lives of children. This compelling personal account is told through the lens of a child surviving it daily. Our main selection, this is, and please help me provide a drum roll, is A Place Called Home, a memoir by David Ambrose. Our young adult novel is Genesis Begins Again by Alicia D. Williams, featuring a 13-year-old who overcomes eviction, internalized racism, and abuse. And last but certainly not least, our children's book selection is Home by Tanya Lippert, a story of two siblings thrust into homelessness and the challenges they face to define what home means. I want to personally invite all of you to our annual Tacoma Reads event, which will take place on Saturday, November 4th in Philip Hall on the University of Washington Tacoma campus. We'd like to express our gratitude to the University of Washington Tacoma campus library for this new partnership. Please join me in thanking them. Now that's just one of our activities. So I want you to connect with the Tacoma Public Library for details about how you can deepen your learning through the Tacoma Reads program and lived experience each selection shares. Before I go any further, I want to pause and reflect on the leadership of a woman who advocated tirelessly and effectively to end homelessness. Maureen Howard, like Arthur, is a true example of how we can all make a difference. Maureen firmly believed that people have a right to a place to live. She dedicated her life to advocating for housing and protections for residents so they would not lose their homes. She passed away earlier this year. And though our hearts mourn, I want to celebrate her contributions because they challenge us to step up, lean in on tough issues, and carry on her legacy. Thank you, Maureen. Now, if safety forms the foundation for a thriving community, and housing provides the walls and roofing that shelter us, then livability is what makes Tacoma a place we're proud to call home. To be clear, a part of why we face such high demand for housing is because people want to live here. Tacoma is regularly noted in national publications for its livability despite our current challenges. With our beautiful parks, picturesque waterfront, creative community, world-class academic opportunities, and the uniquely diverse character of our neighborhoods and business districts, we enjoy an incredible quality of life. But as we plan for our future livability, we know that the decades ahead will bring a more volatile climate. And I know it can be hard to focus on issues like climate change amid pressing human tragedies like homelessness or lives lost to gun violence. But we must build resiliency now, especially in light of the volatility we already face. Our update climate action plan sets aggressive goals for our net zero carbon emissions by 2050. This biennium, we're funding green jobs, air quality relief, vehicle electrification, and more. When it comes to electrification, Tacoma's water department is replacing the vans its field technicians use with all electric models. Additionally, all 15 neighborhood business districts now have street-side electric vehicle charging stations, 8 of which are in historically underinvested areas. Local business employees and customers use them by day, and residents use them by night. And best of all, Tacoma Charge electric vehicles produce 0 emissions because 97% of Tacoma's power's energy is carbon-free. And get this, even Tacoma Rail is seeking to go electric, hoping to bring the first electric locomotive to Washington. making it an already low carbon transport technology even greener. Now, clearly, electrification is important to our future, but so are our transportation choices. That's why we're making it easier and safer to bike, walk, and roll across the city and to connect to transit. Finally, we know climate impacts will be disproportionately felt, and clean air should not be limited to only the neighborhoods that can't afford it. Last summer, the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, in that effort, distributed 540 filter fans to Tacoma residents, thereby making their air cleaner. To truly move the needle on climate change requires leadership at the state, national, and global levels. But that doesn't mean that we can't and shouldn't do our part at the city. And that's our mission. What's more is our local businesses are already leading by example, creating the green technologies of the future right here in Tacoma. We partner with Washington Maritime Blue on the Tacoma Maritime Innovation Incubator, which graduated its first cohort of 5 companies last year. Several of the incubated companies have since hired full-time employees and established operations here, including Agua, which is gaining national recognition efforts for its efforts to remove man-made chemicals from water. Now, 5 more companies are at the incubator working on carbon capture, electric grid management, electric outboard motors, and other forward-looking innovations. And speaking of the maritime sector, Safe Boats, a shipbuilder for first responder vessels, returned to Tacoma 2 years ago. And by the end of this year, they will have added 75 manufacturing jobs to Tacoma's working waterfront, and they plan to expand their boat building efforts for offshore and the wind industry. These are excellent manufacturing jobs that not only pay great wages, but also tackle critical environmental challenges. As jobs and the environment increasingly intertwine, we are specifically cultivating our green economy. At the end of last year, we received a 5-year, $500,000 federal grant to encourage job training in brownfield remediation. Our partner, Clover Park Technical College, will train 105 participants for placements into green jobs, thereby matching workers with in-demand jobs. We will also soon unveil a green job strategy that combines the work of regional stakeholders, advisors, and partners to plan for growth in 3 sectors: green hydrogen, the circular economy, and green building. Our business economy defines so much of Tacoma's character, making it a place where people love to live, learn, visit, dine, shop, work, and play. And I can't talk about business without acknowledging one of our hometown globally recognized companies. This year, we will celebrate the 100th anniversary of Almond Roca. Happy anniversary, Almond Roca. I can't tell you how proud it makes me to travel across this world and walk into a gift shop at the airport and see Almond Roca proudly displayed on the shelves. You know, the pandemic brought profound risk and uncertainties, especially for our small businesses. And that's why we as a public agency continue to step up and help. Last year, we supported 4,700 small businesses through our Minority Development Business Agency. We loaned almost $6.5 million to 636 small businesses to survive, recover, and thrive. And our great Community and Economic Development Department awarded $3 million in recovery grants, more than half of which went to BIPOC-owned businesses. And as if I haven't had enough announcements, I am also pleased to announce that the state recently awarded us $1 million so that we can follow through on specific assistance requests that are still arising from the pandemic. With this funding, we are offering a small business restoration grant and an advanced level technical assistance program. The restoration grant supports both property damage repair and market enhancements, physical upgrades required by code to open or stay open. The technical assistance program will help scores of small businesses with financial management, production efficiency, digital marketing, and e-commerce. We are so grateful to the Department of Commerce for making this support possible, because a strong business sector brings jobs, and jobs open doors to a higher quality of life. And to leverage these opportunities, we must prepare our workforce for jobs across high demand sectors and jobs that pay living wages. And while we continue to build great jobs, we know that 40% of pre-pandemic households are ALICE. ALICE is defined as asset limited, income constraint, and employed. These are families that get up every day going to work to support themselves, but still don't make enough money to make ends meet, or have enough money to incur even a $400 emergency. To support these motivated families, last year, we launched Growing Resilience in Tacoma, or as we like to call it, GRIT. This program, a much needed supplement to families who desperately need a financial safety net, gave 110 families $500 a month for 13 months. And your question is, did it work? Well, let me tell you about Gino. Gino is a single father here in Tacoma, raising 3 boys on his own. He works as a technology consultant for a small company and sustains his household paycheck to paycheck. He, like so many others, makes just a little too much income to receive support from the public benefit system. With one kid needing diabetes medication and another needing tutoring, and the ongoing challenges to their budget, Gino needed help. After being accepted into GRIT, he was able to cover all of the basic needs for his family. And this support allowed Gino to breathe so he could focus not just in the moment, but to focus on his family's future. The support of GRIT dollars allowed Gino to pursue additional certifications at work, that prepared him for a promotion. And the increase allowed him to supplement his income and replace the $500 he received when the program ended, stabilizing his family and improving his economic situation. Guaranteed income works. And while it's not my announcement, I am also pleased that as a founding mayor of the Mayors for Guaranteed Income, that our own Pierce County Council Chair, Ryan Mello, is now a founding member of Counties for Guaranteed Income. Last year, in partnership with Workforce Central, we launched a healthcare apprenticeship program with an earn and learn model, paying participants so they could focus on learning without stressing about how to support their families. And this year, I'm proud to make another announcement that we're building on its successes because it too is working. We have seen 78% of people complete the program, which is incredibly high for this kind of training. And to date, 64% of participants have been placed in healthcare jobs, with more anticipated as we help graduates along their career paths. Now I want to tell you about one young woman who I'll call Maria. Maria enrolled in our healthcare employment and apprenticeship program. She had always been interested in getting a better job and changing careers to focus on healthcare. The stipend she received in our program is what allowed her to fully focus on her training without having to juggle the demands of several jobs. Now, Maria was also pregnant and assumed that she could complete the program before the arrival of her baby. But as we all know, babies have their own time. And the baby came 4 weeks early. Maria was worried about falling behind while she took time to recover and care for her newborn. But the program's flexibility allowed her to pause her training and eventually join another cohort to fulfill her clinical requirements, enabling her to graduate from the program alongside her classmates. Maria is now back at work, fully employed as a registered nursing assistant, and is in pursuing a career in healthcare industry that will allow her to establish strong financial foundation for her family. Congratulations, Maria. Hers is just one story about how this program is changing lives. I'm proud of programs like this because they help us prepare for the future. If the pandemic taught us anything, it's how much we depend on having adequate capacity in our healthcare system. To that end, we have worked with the University of Washington, Tacoma to add up to 60 more seats in healthcare education program each year and continue to work together to advocate for additional support. Another partner, Bates Technical College, opened its new allied health building last year, growing and modernizing its capacity to give students a world-class hands-on education. Listen, livability is a value for us. It's not something we take for granted. How we frame our future adds up. One climate change initiative, one business innovation, and one living wage job at a time. With every challenge comes opportunity. And our city is rich with opportunities. It's worth feeling proud about. It's worth stepping up for, and it's worth lending our best efforts together. Tomorrow, building our best tomorrow. Tacoma, all of you here tonight and all of you watching, you are why I serve. You inspire me every day with your love and passion for our community. I see how hard you work to care for your family, friends, and neighbors, to lift up those in need, to build your business, and to work with others across our community in support of a better Tacoma. What you envision is the best Tacoma possible. A Tacoma that our children and their children will be deeply proud to call home. That's what it means to build Tacoma together. Listen. I know I can seem overwhelmingly optimistic when it comes to this city I love so much. But I see the real realities and the challenges that we face. I know we can successfully navigate through these challenges because we've done it before. We're called the Grit City for a reason. Because even when we're down, we can dust off our knees and get back up and live to fight another day. But I'll be honest, I know that doesn't make it any easier to live through the challenges we face right now. But I want all of you to know that as your mayor, I am paying attention. I am right here with all of you, living in this city, grappling with our shared reality, and I take my responsibility to drive real solutions very seriously. Although the road is long, and it can be very long, I continue to have hope. I have hope. And what powers me each morning to get out of bed and to rise are your calls for a better tomorrow. My hope runs deep because Tacoma is a city with powerful voices, ringing out with a vision so big it takes all of us to carry it forward. My hope runs deep because among these powerful voices is a dedicated city council, along with executive leadership and amazing frontline employees committed to public service. My hope runs deep because I know what this city is made of. I know what we're made of. We're solution-oriented, hard-working people driven by a sincere desire to make Tacoma better. That's why I know, despite what we're facing now, our best days are ahead of us. The state of our city is rising because we are building it brick by brick and block by block. We are rising up to capture opportunity and to put it to purpose, helping us solve our greatest challenges. So as we reach for an even higher destiny, what I know about Tacoma is that when it comes to these critical issues, we overwhelmingly agree. Everyone deserves to feel safe. Everyone deserves to have an affordable place to call home, and everyone should enjoy the livability of this great city. You see, when we rise up together with the same goal in mind, our future is bright, and it's for everyone. We have all the building blocks we need. So my challenge is to each of you. Let's build a tomorrow where everyone feels safe. Let's build a tomorrow where everyone can afford to have a roof over their heads. Let's build a tomorrow where everyone has opportunity and access to well-paying careers. Let's build a tomorrow where we are resilient in the face of climate change. Let's build a tomorrow on the momentum of today. And let's build a tomorrow that starts right here, right now. And most importantly, let's build a tomorrow together. Say that with me. Let's build a tomorrow together. Let's build a tomorrow together. Thank you all so much. We look forward to building tomorrow with all of you.